AG fans, GoGFan93 here, and welcome to another Kaiju discussion video. And for this video, I have a very special guest, Mr. Fresh Vinyl himself.
Bam, what's doing, guys? Thank you for joining us tonight for this awesome discussion that we're going to have.
Yes. Now, I actually did do a discussion with you a while ago, and it was about Final Wars, and that was really fun. This Kaiju discussion video is going to be tackling a topic that I was inspired by Richie, so actually by his latest videos that he's been posting, and also just kind of what I've noticed as well, and something that he's noticed as well, is kind of figure flame wars is what I'm calling this Kaiju discussion video, basically. And the issue is, people are on the internet now, at least in a lot of collecting groups and all that stuff, are going nuts over what you buy, whether it's the value of the figure or the like sculpt or detail, whatever. And there's just everyone shitting on each other for what they want. So like SH Monster Art fans are going after NECA fans are going after SH Monster Arts fans, you got X Plus fans over here, Bandai fans over there. Everyone is just shit talking everybody. So I thought it'd be best to have Richie here because he has been making a lot of videos about it, and also check out his podcast that he just started as well. And that was his first episode. That was one of the topics on it. Actually, that was the topic of the first episode that he did. So, yeah, I think I'll just let you talk, Rich, for a bit about your background with this whole subject.
All right, so this almost spans back to the beginning of when Bandai Creation figures started coming out. You know, but with the current trend right now with NECA figures and SH Monster Arts, it's because the cards on the table, SH Monster Arts and NECA, they're both doing the same figure, essentially. You know, we have Burning Godzillas from both lines. We have GMKs coming from both lines. We have G54s that will be in both lines. Standard, you know, Heisei Godzilla in both lines. So it's like this pissing match between which one is better. And, you know, like, Chris just cut me off, like, if you want to interject, but, you know, because I'll just keep rambling on what I was talking about on my podcast or my videos or write-up. But, you know, they're very similar lines. They're articulated lines in a 6-inch scale. And but what's the difference? You know, why is SH Monster Arts more money than the NECA figures? And I tell collectors it's because SH Monster Arts is using a master sculptor who goes by the name of, you may have heard of him, Yuji Sakai.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yuji Sakai has been sculpting kaiju-related, you know, figures, model kits, whether they be resin, soft vinyl, miniatures from the appearance sets to mini dioramas to all kinds of stuff. He even did the maquette for Godzilla 2000. So he's been doing Godzilla stuff for a long time. Much longer than NECA's been around, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
And he is a premium name. You know, when I think of who's going to do the best sculpt, Yuji Sakai is the name. You know, it's like Hulk Hogan to WWE, okay? They go good together. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
Yep.
So, that's why SH Monster Arts command a higher price. If NECA had Yuji Sakai, NECA figures would probably be twice as much as money.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, also SH Monster Arts are more money because there are more articulation points. You know, what is the big deal with that? No, it is a big deal because that means more mechanics need to be built into the figure, which makes, you know, the sculpt needs to be built differently, sculpted differently, the joints, the sockets, and everything. Everything has to function as a whole. So that's why SH Monster Arts are more money, you know. So put that package all together, yeah, you're gonna pay more money. The figure's more detailed. Yuji Sakai again, and you know, there you have it. I mean, now that's not to say that NECA are bad-looking figures. They're not. I never said they were.
Sometimes
they're just not on the. But I'll retract whenever I said that because I don't really think they're bad looking, but they're not on the same caliber, the same level as SH Monster Arts. But like I have up here the NES Godzilla, which I think is great. I love it because it's different and it's from a video game representation of Godzilla from a game that I played as a kid when I was, 87? I was 5, 6 years old at the time. So NECA puts out good stuff. I will say I'm still itching about getting the 54 from NECA. And the Camp K looks good too, even though it was just a prototype on Painted that we saw from Toy Fair.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't from Toy Fair. NECA tweeted it on Twitter during the weekend of Toy Fair. So and then I'll wrap this up, and then I'll let you take over. I think NECA is a great line for young collectors or for budgeted collectors that want, that want to spend $20-25. I think that's where it's good. All right, and then to add, one thing that I can't stand that does get my blood boiling is when you have NECA fans pissing and moaning and saying that SH Monster Arts are overpriced when either they don't want to pay for SH Monster Arts or B, they can't afford it. Yeah. Which, if you can afford it, that's fine. I will never, tell somebody that, oh, you should get SH Monster Arts because whatever. If that's what's in your budget, the NECA line, then that's what you collect. Collect what you can buy, collect what you can afford, collect what you like. That's what I tell people all the time. So, I think that's my 2 cents for the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's, I get it sometimes in the comments too. People will always be talking about, oh, you keep on getting X Plus, but man, you must be like loaded with money and stuff and all this. It's like, no, really, I'm not. It's called having a job. It's called saving up your pennies. I tell people a lot that if you want to get these figures, you definitely gotta save up, and it's not that hard to save up, but there are people. I do understand that there are people that cannot get them whatsoever, and that's fine. That's why there are these other lines. There's literally a line for anybody's taste. You have, we'll start from Bandai. Bandai is, I would say, probably the well-rounded figures where it's like, it's really good for anybody, really. I like Bandais. Who doesn't like Bandais? Really. And that's mostly where all of us started from. Technically, I started from Treadmasters when I was young, but, that was really the only thing you could afford at the time, or get at the time when I was little.
That's where I started.
Yeah. But then you discover Bandai, and it was really cool. Now, for me personally, though, it was Bandai Creation back in 2002, and I was in the 2nd grade with that. And I have a little special place in my heart for Bandai Creation. And one thing, though, that I want to talk about, especially with Rich, is I don't really understand. I don't know. Maybe you can explain this, but when did the hatred for Bandai Creation come about, and why do so many collectors look down on it?
I think it started when Bandai Creation came out. Now, Bandai Creation was 2002 when they first started, right?
Yep.
Give or take. I just remember it was the early 2000s. Bandai figures, I always hear people say there's Bandai Creation or Bandai America, and then there's Bandai Japan. No, there is no such thing as quote-unquote Bandai Japan. It's Bandai, or Bandai, however you pronounce it.
Bandai figures from Japan.
Yeah, Bandai figures from Japan, just to be, non-technical. Don't mind me. It's just like, what's Bandai Japan? But Bandai figures started coming out in 1983. That's 32 years ago. The year I was born. Thank you. I'm old. Getting there. So you have probably, let's see what. That generation group of collectors that started back with those figures, I didn't start till, I'd say 2 generations worth of collectors that started with the original Bandai figures. So, introduced Bandai Creation, and a lot of collectors look at those as inferior sculpts, to what came before it. Chris, I remember one of the earliest conversations me and you had was about Bandai Creation versus Bandai, and
it was.
It wasn't until me and you started talking about it. It's like I had what is really the big deal? Everybody likes what they like, and collect what they can afford. But it was like, you had, and here's the thing that I really think it's about. I was thinking about this on my way home from work tonight. Is that the collectors that collect NECA or Bandai Creation, they're going to defend those lines because that's what they collect, that's what they like. So So, but when I hear somebody tell me that the Bandai Creation King Caesar is better than the X Plus, I'm like,
yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that's a big stretch. But then let's go compare the Bandai Creations King Caesar to the Bandai King Caesar. Whether it be the 1993 release of the 8-inch scale King Caesar or the later the 1998 versions from the 6-inch scale to Godzilla Island / Toho Kaiju series.
Yes.
Now they're a little bit more comparable, but which sculpt is technically accurate? Because even the Bandai figure from Japan is not not exactly
not
accurate.
perfect.
But I think the Bandai Creation version it's a little bit more lively looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you this right now, it's for getting these figures from Bandai Creation to be releasing figures in America, it's better than what the Treadmasters were when I was collecting.
Yeah.
I can't argue that.
Yeah.
Especially as how many figures that have come out with Bandai Creation. So it just turned into a pissing match because
Bandai Creation's been kind of slacking lately.
Yeah, I was gonna say there really hasn't been.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with them.
From them. From probably about a year or so now.
Maybe it's because of NECA.
Maybe.
I made this. I made this video. I know some of you are going to bring up stuff, but I made a live stream ago with another guest that we won't name because you guys know who he is. But we talked about if NECA is going to be the new Bandai Creation because I really thought about that, because they're like the new ones that are coming in with the cheap figures. And I don't know. Maybe it's because of NECA that Bandai Creation just kind of went to the wayside, and they're like, oh, okay. Nah. I mean, the only thing that they've come out with in the last couple months is like the 12-inch 2014 Godzilla. Which isn't even really 12 inches. I looked at pictures compared to the other 12-inch guys, and it's not even that size, so it's kind of bullshit. But, anyways. But back to the point that, it is kind of weird that there's this just side against Bandai Creation and NECA and these, like, American side figures, everything's better in Japan, it must come from Japan, which I can somewhat understand. I mean, obviously, you got to respect the motherland, of course. But it doesn't mean that if something does come from America, it's automatically bad. No, there's a lot of good things that can come from the other places. But now it's definitely against NECA and SH Monster Arts, and it's also kind of weird about the GMK because these are the new ones that are coming out. GMK, 1954, and then NECA's doing the same thing. But then I also thought about X Plus, and I'm like, it's kind of weird with X Plus too because they just released the Sakai GMK, which you have back there, I see, which just looks fabulous, by the way. It's
awesome.
Yeah, see, and that's what Yuji Sakai is capable of. That's what his style is. So it's a little. I mean, it's a little bit stylized, right? It's not completely suit accurate.
I would say it's very suit accurate.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I don't think. Let me pull it up. I mean, I don't know how well it's going to transition over to the camera, but I think it's very suit accurate. I don't really see too much stylization in it at all. I mean, as far as the face goes, it's horrible.
Yeah, the face looks really cool.
But
yeah, they came out with the Sakai GMK, and then also we're getting, I believe, soon the gigantic 1954.
Yes, that should be summer this year, 2016. So yeah, you got a gigantic Godzilla 54 from X Plus. You got a NECA 54, and we're gonna have an SH Monster Arts 54.
And then we're getting GMK from all those lines as well. So it's weird. It's like all of a sudden they came together and like, these guys, let's do them all. Now, I honestly, though, to be honest, I wasn't actually that excited about the new kind of figures coming out because I really want something new, kind of fresh, like fresh. But something like, I don't know, give us a Jet Jaguar SH Monster Arts or like Megalon or something. Something that we just don't see all the time. I mean, I love GMK in 54, but man, it's getting to the point where there's like as many of those as Burning Godzilla figures. There's just too many of the same kind of.
Yeah, let's touch base on that. See, here's the thing with NECA. NECA only has the rights to only do Godzilla figures. They can't do other kaiju.
That's a little bit of a problem.
Where SH Monster Arts, hey, like you said before, coming from the motherland, they got free reign pretty much over anything.
Yeah.
With Bandai, Tamashii Nations. They're cranking out everything from, Ultraman, Godzilla to, I mean, what did I just see? Oh, SH Figure Arts is also doing. They're doing Star Wars stuff. They're doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So, Japan, toy maker of the world, that pays China to make them though. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But yeah, it's such a weird thing though that there is a stigmatism, and I've kind of, well, I mean, and you've seen me on like the Godzilla Collectors group on Facebook. You've seen me kind of drop in and drop out of that group sometimes, just because there were some times where I definitely would just see all this negativity towards anybody who posted a Bandai, like one little Bandai Creation figure. And don't even get me started if the Bandai Creation figure was a Final Wars figure. Whoa, you don't want that to show up in that group, or else they are gonna slam the crap out of that. But it's true, So it kind of sours the experience of being a collector, because you're kind of always wondering, you kind of look at yourself like, oh, I guess I'm not a real collector if I don't, buy the high end stuff or something from Japan, But it shouldn't take away from what you like to buy, You
it shouldn't.
Should buy what you like, and and I like X Plus. That's actually my main thing. What I'm doing right now, really, is I'm full throttle into X Plus. Although really the only reason is because of Diamond reissues, which is another kind of thing that I was thinking about. Is even though Diamond reissues is the quality control was iffy at the beginning when they started this, like what, in 2013? Yes, 13. But I kind of always wondered, like, it's kind of interesting, like the Bandai Creation with Bandai, is that they have now they're coming out in America, like reissuing the figures, and just kind of even though the some of the figures are not like Bandai Creation has some of their own original figures, but Diamond, I don't think they have any rights to make original things. It's just complete reissues.
There's been some ideas or thoughts poking around that Diamond was going to be able to do their own sculpts, from X Plus, but nothing's come out of it yet.
Yeah.
But what you were mentioning about the Diamond reissues, this is something I was talking about to another member of, another collector on Facebook. He's a big kit builder, and I respect his opinion a lot. I won't name his name, if he's watching it, I got you. Totally lost my train of thought.
The model kit?
Yeah, model kits. But, we were talking about, I made mention of how with the Diamond reissues coming out, it kind of waters what I have down. Like, for instance, Titanosaurus. That's a sought after X Plus 30 centimeter figure. I've seen it go for $600 at G-Fest or online or eBay, Yahoo Japan or whatever. I paid $300 for mine when I was over 3 years ago, and now it's going to just practically be handed to everybody so easily. So I'm like, frickin' A. I'm like, there goes the value in my Titanosaurus, because now everybody's going to have one.
And this is the problem that might happen with some collectors, is that, Rich, because of that, you should go out in those groups and you should start shitting on people who are buying the Diamond, because you're like, oh, I had to pay the original one. Yeah, I have the good old original. You have a reissue. That's not even as good. That's the problem that, we're facing, at least. And I kind of wondered if Diamond reissues were facing the same kind of criticism that Bandai Creation was back in the day with, kind of reissuing figures and all that stuff. So
yeah, I've seen it said. Now, for the record, I will say that I don't. It's not how I think. It does just from a little bit of a value aspect of having a unique figure.
I was saying as an example. Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. But I've already seen. Even when Diamond started that. Oh well, it's not the Japanese issue. Now, I will say from my own account, because of the first few batches of Diamond X Plus reissued figures. With Mechagodzilla 74, Godzilla 54, which I do have, which is actually really well done.
Yeah, I love that
those
one.
First few batches were like iffy on the paint jobs. The Gargantuous Sandangaira had not the best paint jobs. The Mechagodzilla 74 had that lean to it. Mm-hmm. So, because of the nutcase that I am with completing the line, I'm like, well, you know what? I could have easily got the Mechagodzilla 74 Diamond reissue. But I was like, I don't want this lean, so I hunted down the Japanese issue and I spent a little bit more money.
Yep.
And because I'm weird like that, But does that mean that the Diamond reissue is bad? No. this is something I made mention about SH Monster Arts on my podcast. Are all the SH Monster Arts figures Grand Slams? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm a big Godzilla 64 fan, but that figure, I think from the neck down looks horrible. Mm-hmm. There's gaps and there's the triangle, what we call it, on the sides. It's not very appealing looking, from an articulation standpoint. But I get it because that's how the figure can move around and everything. Yeah. And then there's the gap in the dorsal plate. I'm like, oh my god, it's got a gap. Throw it on the floor and step on it. Yeah, you deserve it. But I get it. That's how that's what comes with the figures. But so SH Monster Arts, they're not perfect. Neither is X Plus. Some of the X Plus figures. Do I have any here? The problem. All right, for instance, over here, if you want to just poke at the camera, the Burning Godzilla here. Why does it sound different all of a sudden? Whatever. The Burning Godzilla. He is the Rick edition, so he lights up, and all the bleed through on that figure is just like almost horrible looking. It just looks really, really bad.
I remember seeing that on the picture. I might post a picture somewhere here, guys, so you can get a visualization of what we're talking about as well.
It's just like, ugh. And then, there was, and rightfully so, the snout looks really, really bad because there's so much paint
very cheeky
on the face.
He has cheeks.
Yeah, his cheeks and everything. You have that one, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got it.
Yeah. So yours, I'm pretty sure yours looks the same, I think.
Yeah, it does.
But it looks very. They painted. They had to put so much paint on it, so light wouldn't bleed through on the Rickbird. Yeah. So nothing's perfect, whether it's from Japan or United States. It's.
And one of the big things as well that I want to touch upon too is, everyone has their opinions with the figures and all that, but you can't be so. You gotta be also aware and objective that. Some figures definitely are better than others, which is why you pay more for what you get. I always look at it that probably on a scale, you look at all these figures, probably Treadmasters probably be the bottom. I'm sorry, Treadmasters, but, I don't even know if it's fair, though. They're not even really here anymore, but, yeah, whatever. The Treadmasters figures were there, and detail, quality, they were very stylized kind of figures.
Remember the supercharged ones with the armor and guns and everything?
Oh yeah, that was nuts, but kind of cool at the same time. But filled with '90s cheese. But then I say the step up would be Bandai Creation, and then Bandai, and then the slight. Bandai Creation, and once again, me coming from a hardcore Bandai Creation fan, like you said with SH Monster Arts, that they're not all perfect. There's definitely a few big blunders with Bandai Creation. For instance, Godzilla 2000. Oh, that was a bad looking figure.
Yeah.
Definitely go for the Japan one with that one. But when it comes to Gigan Final Wars, looked really good on Bandai Creation.
The Rainbow Mothra?
See, that was my very first ever Bandai Creation figure. So that's probably why I got hooked, because I was like, wow, look at this thing. So if I saw the Godzilla 2000 first, I'd probably be like, huh? But anyways,
I think the Rainbow Mothra looks amazing.
It does. It does.
So. I think that's the one figure that looks almost near identical to the actual Bandai version.
Yeah. So I'd say Bandai Creation and Bandai Japan very close together. You could probably just group them into one thing, and then I'd probably move up to NECA. If you want to get a little bit more articulation, because articulation is all the rage right now. I don't really understand why, but it is. And that's cool, whatever. Like I said, you buy what you want to buy. It's cool. So yeah, NECA and, and a little thing on NECA too, at least with me. A lot of people think I just flat out hate NECA and all that stuff because I talk shit about the 84 figure. But here's the thing. You gotta look at it from my perspective. I love 84. I'm super passionate about 84. The second I heard they were coming out with a new figure about 84, I flipped out and I was really excited. Then we saw the prototype. Oh my god, I wanted to throw up. And then they were like, okay, well, here's what we'll do. We'll change the head sculpt. Okay, well, that's all they did, though. Everyone praised them for, kind of redoing the figure, but the only thing they did was the head. Everyone says, everything looks different. No, the head was the only thing that was changed, and the head still looks a little bit off to me. Now, if you like that figure, that's cool. That's more power to you. Me, on the other hand, coming from super hardcore 84 fan, also, they keep on calling it 85, which really bugs me. That's one of my pet peeves about that movie. It's 84, people. Came out in 84. Yep. It's 84.
That's just like some something I will never let go of. The two titles for the Heisei films from the Sony DVDs.
Battle for
Godzilla, yeah, Battle for... I'm sorry, people. Godzilla, Mothra, and Batra, they don't really care. They're not battling for Earth. They're battling each other. And then 1993 is Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. It's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2? No, wrong.
It's like, wait,
it's just Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
1993 version.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, NECA, you know, I will say that when I saw the 54 NECA figure, I was actually impressed. I was like, wow, okay, that looks really, really good. Like, honestly, if I didn't have the X Plus 1954, I'd probably buy myself the NECA 1954 figure.
You know, I want to, bringing NECA back up again, I want to point the figure out. It's neither NECA nor SH Monster Art. But there was a Bandai was releasing back in the same time the Bandai Creation came out, the Chogokin series.
Oh, I know that one, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the Chogokin Mechagodzilla 1975. I would say this is probably, on a similar caliber. It's almost like I'd say somewhere between what NECA and SH Monster Arts is, because the detail is beautiful, but it doesn't have all the articulation as SH Monster Arts.
It's in the middle.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle, but I think this figure looked great. I was almost going to sell it too, but I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
But, so that's when really I think the rage started with articulation. It was in the early 2000s, and Bandai figures stopped selling and commanding the high prices that they did in the, most of the 90s, and especially towards the late 90s. But,
yeah. But, I mean, 1954 looked great. And then GMK came out of nowhere, and, I think that looks really good as well. So, I think it's very good for budget collectors that they'll be able to get a really nicely detailed GMK figure without having to pay like an $80 price tag or however much this guy's going to cost. So you got, I'd say NECA, then the next step, SH Monster Arts. And I only say that that's next because SH Monster Arts, however you take it, it is a better quality figure. I mean, it's a better quality line. One, because there is a bit more points of articulation, and also the sculpts have way more detail. Also, and I actually learned from watching your podcast last night that Yuji Sakai he's sculpted all of those, right?
I'm pretty certain he sculpted all of them.
Okay, see, I didn't know that, actually.
I almost want to question Biolante because Biolante looks still, even my opinion now, Biolante still looks a little weird.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty certain he did all of them.
And that's why, like Rich said earlier, that's why the price tag is a little bit higher. It's kind of like if you buy Apple or Android. Apple is going to be a little bit more expensive just because of the brand and the name alone. That's the only reason. That's just life. That's how it is. So yes, SH Monsters would be there, and then I would say X Plus is next. Definitely for people who don't want not who don't want articulation, but who just kind of we're not fixated on it. I want figures that are basically my goal with my collection now is to get every incarnation of every character, and X Plus I feel is the best way to do that because you get really detailed figures not only based off the character themselves but the actual suit, which is really nice.
Yes.
You gotta pay a pretty penny to get that, but you get a job, you save up, and you're good. And also, you got to make sure you get those pre-orders.
Always jump on the pre-orders.
Definitely. Flozzy's Gifts. There you go.
Flozzy's Gifts.
We should use that. I should put that clip right in there. Just edit that in. But yes, and then I think I would say the next step up from X Plus is probably model kits, right? Is that probably the next step up?
Model kits, yes. Now, I'm going to tell you why model kits. This is something I learn when I read and pay attention to people that know what they're talking about. Because when I don't know something, then I just shut up and I don't talk. I pay attention to what's going on around me. For instance, let's talk about X Plus. Just one step here. The Yuji Sakai figures that are coming out from X Plus were previously model kits, and they were resin model kits. So for those people out there that collect the X Plus Yuji Sakai, you're wondering why they're a little bit shorter. When you transition a sculpt from resin to vinyl, there is some shrinkage. You're going to lose some scaling a little bit. So these kits that came out before, or just model kits in general, resin captures detail better than vinyl. And there are way more model kits out there than X Plus figures. Way more. I mean, I've seen so many different variations of the Godzilla 64 just from David Dopko doing them, and a couple other collectors doing them. The Godzilla 2002. If you've been seeing on the Godzilla Collectors group on Facebook, David Dopko and John DeSantis, they both just did Godzilla 2002. One is I think the Tease Facto, and one is a Yuji Sakai that they did. And, they were both resin kits, not done by X Plus. So when John DeSantis did the Yuji Sakai Godzilla 2002, what was one of the first things a lot of people were saying? Oh, I hope X Plus does that. So that's coming from a non-kit builder, and that's where the kit builders say, oh, well, where's the fun in that if you're just going to, pre-order the figure, get it shipped, pull it out of the box, plop it on your shelf.
And stare at it.
Intensive staring. This is what I started calling intensive staring.
Intensive stare. I like that.
Oh,
someone's got to meme that right there. Take a pic of that and meme it.
See, but here's the thing with model kits. It's like I mentioned on my podcast, is that a model kit, you pull it out of the box and it's in pieces. It's like a little baby. Pulling it out of the box is like, coming out of the womb. So you start putting it together. You start building it. You start painting it. You start doing all the little details and everything. You start putting in putty to cover up the seams. And, and when you're done, you have this beautiful creation that you put together. And that's something you can't get from doing a model, from putting an X Plus on your shelf.
Yeah.
And the paint job is going to be different. Even if you had 100 people with the same model kit, each one's going to look different because of how they built it, how they painted it to their liking and everything. So that's where model kits are different. And you have a little bit more sense of pride, satisfaction when you do a model kit because it's your own, it's your baby. You did it.
Yep.
So that's model kits. But yeah, model kits are the next thing up after X Plus.
Also, other little lines that I've forgotten to mention, little high-grade Gasopron figures are also really cool little things to get. I collected them when I was really little. I don't really collect them anymore, but those things are really cool, especially if you don't have a lot of shelf space, because they're really small. But for how small they are, that high-grade name definitely makes sense, because there's actually some really good detail on little small figures like that. And then also Marmot. That's another big thing. I don't think I forgot about that. Did I? I don't know. Anyways, yes.
We haven't talked about Marmot yet.
Marmot is, I would say, if you want something that is really extravagant, colorful, vibrant, something that's just a little bit different. Looks like Rich is gonna grab something here.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna grab an exclusive one.
Don't make me jealous. Oh yeah. Yes. Look at that one. Yeah. So definitely, something for collectors who want something that's a bit more different, something that's stylized, something colorful, vibrant,
artistic.
Artistic, yes, that's a good word for it. So,
there
are probably a lot of people that shit on it.
Hold on, back down. I'm gonna be the first one to sit here and say that back when I was still collecting Bandai figures. When I saw Marmot figures, I'm like, what the frick is that? Like, what is with the crazy paint job? It was like, I didn't get it. It was like the first time I've seen them, like, why would somebody want to collect that? Why would somebody want a Godzilla that's got neon green, orange, brown, black, purple, all thrown on it together? Yeah. But, I was like, I pulled the plug one day, and I got my first Marmot. It was the Marmot Monster Heaven. I wish I had it out right now, but it was a Marmot Monster Heaven Meltdown Godzilla that was all orange. It was injected with glitter, and I was like, wow. Like, the sculpt was not, like, super accurate, but it was stylized. And I looked at this thing as a piece of art.
Yes. And
that's what Marmot is. It's just a different flavor, on your taste buds. And, I grew to love Marmot figures. I don't have many. I have specific ones that the Godzilla 2000 I pulled up was a G-Fest exclusive, only limited to 10 at G-Fest. And the Desugojis, Godzilla 95s, which are a very popular one. The Godzilla 2000s, like the one I showed, that's another popular sculpt. but there's just so many of them with so many different paint jobs and paint schemes, glow in the darks and whatnot. It's just ridiculous. A shout out to a couple of those big Desugoji fans, James Hartman, Dan Miller, Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
There is just, between those three guys, there's probably well over 150 different variations or figures of those between those three guys. And it's just nuts.
Yeah.
But it's the flavor on your taste buds. It's really, Marmot is just, it's unique in its own way,
It is. It stands out. It's kind of on its own with that. So, but and I think I will start to wrap up this video. But one of the biggest things too is I'm kind of gonna look at look at that. See, that's a Marmot.
I just wanted to make no. These are M1.
Oh, M1. That's another one.
I just wanted just before you wrap up. There's other lines out there that are doing stylized stuff. So there's M1. This was the Haru Nakajima, and then you have the Megaguirus.
Oh.
Better hold on. This is a really nice one.
Yeah, that does look nice.
They're really, really neat. So, again, what does this all come down to? What we like.
Yes.
And one thing I keep saying, I've said it numerous times in the past week, there is so much stuff to choose from. How is anybody upset about anything? God.
And look, whether it is if you're like jealous of someone having that stuff or whatever, there's I don't know. There's always a way to get this stuff, whether it's saving up your pennies or you get a job and you find the ways to do it. Like for me, when I first started collecting X Plus, it was really hard to get started into it because, man, I was behind the game. I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to even get into this. I was looking at eBay prices. I was getting really like, I was thinking, okay, this isn't going to be a line that I'm going to get into. I'm probably just going to get 84 and that's it. But then you start to get into the groups and you start to learn and you start to like, okay, do pre-orders and this and that. You start to adjust your budget to where you can get these figures. That's why I don't really collect everything like I used to. Now, if you're one of those people that honestly don't care about really anything and you just buy all the lines, like anything that comes out from every line you buy it, hey, that's like really good, more power to you if you can do that, because I used to be that, not anymore, but
I don't even do that. I mean, I'm really psychotic with X Plus, but when it comes to SH Monster Arts, I'm not buying
every little thing that comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want one of each.
And I always and another good thing that I want to say is that I'm also looking at this from like a gamer point of view, that this brand loyalty thing that's going on as well. Companies don't care about you per se. They want your money in a way. They are a business, and this is one of the things that a lot of people just don't seem to understand is that they're not gonna like give you a shout out or anything for buying their figures. They make it. They want people to buy them, and that's it. Same thing with video games, with companies. Whether you're a PlayStation fan or an Xbox fan or Nintendo, they don't care about your points of view. They just want you to buy their console.
I spent thousands of dollars on X Plus. You think they're throwing me anything? No. Doing all these reviews for them, watching Yuji Okamoto.
Yeah, maybe for a couple of us we get some special treatment, but but it's with the thing with the brand loyalty. It's like now when it comes to video games, yeah, I actually own all the consoles. I have PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and PC because I like to have everything. Now when it comes to Godzilla collection, that's a little bit of a harder thing because you're actually probably going to spend a lot more money, even though video games seem to be expensive. But Godzilla figures are going to be, if you're buying everything from every line, man, I don't know how you do it, but keep on doing it. Keep on doing what you love, right? So yes, to close this out, otherwise we're just going to ramble on, but we could ramble on about this for hours upon hours. But basic thing is, this is also going back to my State of the G-Fan video. If you guys remember that, I did that the year ago, whatever, last year. Let's just all calm down as a fan base. Let's all enjoy the fan base, especially the stuff that's coming up. Shin Gojira, I imagine there's going to be plenty of figures with that guy, and I just want us to, can we just not have a big cluster of this stuff? Can we enjoy the new movies that are coming out and then the figures that are coming out with it? Can we just enjoy everything that's coming our way? There's no reason to get angry, especially with all the stuff that's there. There's something for everybody. There's no excuse really. Like if you want to collect, there's no excuse right now. You're good, because if you were when I was a little kid, all we had were Treadmasters. That's it. It's nothing. The internet was not what it is nowadays. You couldn't get.
Imagine if our community was as big as the Star Wars community.
Oh yeah. Well,
So what my point with that statement is we are the Godzilla community. It's a small community. You know, there's maybe only at the best 3,000 people at G-Fest. The number's slowly growing, but I mean, it's not that big of a community. We shouldn't be having all these pissing matches.
Yes.
You know, and trying to one up each other or whatever. So the key word, what you were saying, was enjoy what we have.
Yep.
You know, so.
Yep. So I'm gonna keep on collecting X Plus. Rich is gonna keep on collecting X Plus SH Monster Arts, and really anything he wants. You know.
That's about what I'm really collecting right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing too. I mean, you don't really necessarily have to buy everything. Really, buy what you really want.
What do you mean I don't buy everything? You see all my Ultraman stuff down here?
I know. See, he's going crazy with Ultraman stuff now.
We got a whole shelf here.
He's going insane with that.
Insane. But I sold stuff. See, here's another thing I implore collectors to do. You know, if you want something, like I got stuff that I'm selling right now. I'm like, I could do without stuff that, you know, I'm making sacrifices to get other stuff. So sell stuff to get new stuff. I turn old vinyl into new vinyl.
There you go. So yeah, but if you guys can just do that for us, be nice to each other, stop complaining, buy what you want, buy what you get. Rich, you say, you know, the stuff you say. Buy what you want, buy what you can afford, what you get.
Buy what you like.
There's a lot of stuff out there for everybody. So all these kind of flavors, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Kaiju discussion video. Please post in the comments what you guys think of this whole issue. You know, we would love to read the comments, and we will answer questions as best we can. And yeah, thank you, Rich, for joining this Kaiju discussion video. The second Kaiju discussion he's been a part of. It's awesome. So maybe in the future I'll get some other guests. I don't know. We'll just have to see. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay big, G fans.